What's the words? Today we about to check out a video from a creator named Miss Penguin, and it's touching on the Gary, Indiana situation. If a lot of you haven't known, they've been without lights for quite some time now, um, and I don't think people are paying attention to it, and it's affecting our community a lot. Um, and so I'm gonna check out a few of these reels, and shout out to the creators of these reels, and also to the creator who put these clips together. And then we're gonna get into it, and we're gonna shine light on what other people aren't shining light on. And excuse me if y'all hear some yelling in the background. I just let down my window, turned on the air conditioner, but my neighbor next door seems to keep yelling, so pardon me, but I do live in the hood.
I put my money where my mouth is. I think this should be national news, and it's crazy to me that it's not being talked about. All the stuff y'all talk about on social media nowadays, everybody got a think piece on everything. Why not a think piece on the fact that communities that look like myself been out with power for 8 days? Gary, Indiana, we will see y'all in a minute. The Midwest Food Tour is officially starting, and it's starting with y'all.
Why am I only just now hearing that Gary, Indiana has been without power for about a week now? Why is the first story I hear out of this about looting? Not that the
Hmm.
food banks are struggling to keep up with demand, but the looting. But all this reminds me of is Hurricane Katrina and how they left them people out there to drown in disease-filled floodwater.
I had to catch an emergency flight out here because in Gary there was no type of lights. We've been out 8 days, no lights.
You done had this baby up there for
8 days, no lights.
This is an urgent warning for anybody living in Gary, Indiana. I know right now you're without power. There's a lot of people desperate. But there's people dressed in all black going around door to door, saying they are from the electric company, saying they are there to help you. I would advise you to think twice before opening the door for anybody during this time. This is a warning that not only was by local police, it's been put out by people. There are people that have experienced.
My 71-year-old father and my 68-year-old mother have been without power for the last 7 days because they live in Gary, Indiana, and the entire city is literally in the Stone Age right now because there is no power, no electricity, no gas stations. There are trees out in the street, giant trees. There was an immense, huge tornado that killed the power everywhere, not just in Gary, Indiana, but the entire county, the entire Northwest Indiana. Let me tell you something. I have the privilege of living in Los Angeles, California. If the entire Los Angeles County, we're talking about Compton, Malibu, Hollywood, if all of that.
When you think about that, the entire county, if the entire Cook County, Illinois, if the entire Cook County did not have lights, that would stretch so far through through some suburbs that are not like no rinky-dink suburbs. Like Oak Park will have a problem if Oak Park don't have no lights. They might leave us without lights, even though Oak Park is literally across the street. They'll leave us with no lights. This is insane. But I wonder when we're gonna wake up.
Had no power, it's all you would hear about. That's all. If the entire metropolitan New York area did not have power right now, there would be nothing else you would be hearing about. But because this is an area with primarily black and brown folk, you barely even know about this. And so right now they're trying to get power back, but they're even telling people, and I have personal record of calling my friends and family that still live there, that they're not going to have power until September 12th, largely in part because the company that is over the power, NIPSCO, doesn't even want, they're not prioritizing the poor areas right now. They're not prioritizing Gary, Indiana. Many of
And they tell us there's no such thing as systemic racism. That's what they tell us. But then they'll turn around and tell us to our face that we're not the priority. And we're still not at a place where we want to take the black dollar away. All the trillions we spend annually, and we're never the priority. And yet we still haven't figured out that the key to breaking this machine is loving each other. Literally. loving each other and separating ourselves from the things that the colonizers have taught us. You people want to stay attached to the things they have taught us, but they also taught us that they don't give a damn about us. I'm so confused.
The white areas now have power. Not to make this a racial thing, but it's a racial thing.
It's a racial
and
thing.
It's a real deep thing that needs to be addressed. So please share this video. Please share awareness of the fact that we're in a literal national crisis right now, but because it's centralized in a black and brown area, you basically know nothing about it. I'm talking about there's one road in and one road out to basically every neighborhood because there are just trees in the street. There's no way to get around it. There's a live wire power line in my parents' backyard right now from a transformer where if they go touch the grass, they can get shocked and die from a live transformer that's just in their backyard. That's happening right now in real time to my actual parents. You dig what I'm saying? Like, people are fighting over generators. There is no gas. There are no gas stations. People have to leave to go to the next city to get gas. Not the next city, because the whole county,
Bro, not to get too deep, but I be feeling like these are plays on our energy. When they do stuff like this, they constantly want us to not be elevated, to work from this place of like fear and struggle and anxiety and just crisis all the time. They want our energy to remain there so that we don't elevate, and yet we're still allowing it. Like, when is enough enough? It's too many black people running around here talking about how spiritual they are, and yet ain't nobody gonna walk out and step out there on their faith. That's why I don't believe in this traditional church stuff that y'all talking about, because to know God is to trust God. That's what I'm gonna say.
To Chicago to go get gas. It's a national crisis. Please share this video. Please talk about this, because they need to send in the National Guard. They need to do whatever to help NIPSCO bring power to these people so that they are not living off the power grid. It's the wells are cut off because water wells have switches that are necessary because of power. Please spread this video. Please spread awareness. This is deeply necessary. I appreciate you. I love you.
Yesterday on Threads, I said major news outlets are refusing to report that Gary, Indiana has been without power since August 11, which would be 7 days. I also go on to say that the utility company will be getting reimbursed by FEMA for the emergency services that have not been rendered yet, even though other parts of Indiana have had their power turned back on. I said people are scared, hungry, and unsure of what's happening. After I posted that, the white people in Indiana proceeded to come to the, what do they call comments on Threads? Whatever they call them on Threads, to let me know that it's not just Gary, it's other parts of Indiana too. And then when I go check their pages, they're interacting with comments accusing black people of trying to make this about race and trying to start a race war.
Typical.
And I just want to say this. If the black people in Gary, Indiana are getting on the internet and informing us that they have no power, and that is the only information that we are getting because major news outlets are not reporting on it, why the fuck would we know other parts of Indiana don't have power?
Man.
Just like you can hop in my comments and let me know that it's not just Gary, you can hop yours on the internet and make a video and let us know about the county, the city, the town, whatever that you live in. With that being said, here's a map that one of those white women left in the comment section for you to be able to know that it's not just Gary, Indiana that has been without.
Bro, this is actually funny. White people are something else. And I'm thank you, young lady. Thank you, Ashley, for reposting this map, because it's absolutely hilarious. White people, y'all gotta cut it out, man.
Power since August 11th. I'm Ashley with the Nye, bringing you news on days that end in Y.
Why am I only just now hearing that Gary, Indiana has been without power for about a week now? Why is the first story I hear out of this about looting? Not that the food banks are struggling to keep up with demand, but the looting. Oh no, are the people in crisis doing what they think they have to do to survive?
Exactly.
Let me not bless no BS. Because there's definitely people who loot for the
No,
love of the game.
we're not blessing. We're not. I'm not. I know I'm not. And it's a shame that this is what we have to do, because I knew when he said it, he wasn't trying to bless no looting. He wasn't trying to be like, oh yeah, they looting. He's actually saying, okay, so you leave these people in desperation, and then they start to do things that a person that is desperate would do, and then you report on that without reporting on the fact that you have left them without lights and utilities for 8 days. So we kind of use our common sense as black people. I hate to be called black, any of these labels. As the Israelite that I am, and the indigenous person of this land, we know that there's circumstances that cause the looting, and you all found enough time within the news, you cared enough within the news to go out and paint these black people as looters. But you ain't discussed them none while the lights was out. You even told them they weren't a priority. And then you keep telling us that there's no systemic racism. There's no racism. America's great. Like, when is enough enough? I'm going to keep saying it. When is enough enough, bro?
But all this reminds me of is Hurricane Katrina and how they left them people out there to drown in disease-filled
Yes,
flood
they
water.
did.
What was the news reporting on? The looting. Not that the United States government left its citizens to die, but the looting they have to do to survive. Gary, Indiana is about 80% black.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the media is neglecting this crisis. If they can't criminalize us, it's not worth reporting. You know, they say the revolution won't be televised, but it's clear that neither will the collapse.
Nope.
Gary, Indiana been without power for 8 days. We was talking about doing a food tour in the Midwest because we go to Chicago next year for our festival. How we gonna do a food tour in the Midwest and Gary ain't had no power and ain't nobody talking about it? I, for one, have not seen anybody else outside of Gary, Indiana talk.
They not talking about it because they do not care about the Midwest. Our politicians don't care about the Midwest. The rest of the country don't care about the Midwest. When they talk racism in this country, they usually talk about the southern states. But if you live in Illinois, Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, any of these states up here in the Midwest, you are dealing with police brutality, flat out racism. Some is worse than others. Wisconsin, it might as well be down south, and nobody cares. You can go to your local alderman, congressman. You you could try every legal avenue, and these people will ignore you and taunt you while doing it. They're trying to push us to a civil unrest. That is what they're trying to do. And I suggest we just withdraw. These people they care about money. We have been their assets since they came over here and stole the land from us. They don't care. And it's time for us not to care about anyone other than ourselves. We need to love ourselves.
About what's going on in Gary, Indiana, and I don't like it. And if you know me, you know I put my money where my mouth is. So today alone, we've been on the phone with the mayor's office to see if there's ways we can get involved. We've been on the phone with Salvation Army to see if we can get a Salvation Army truck and just drive around and pass out necessities, goods, anything that we can get our hands on. Now I'm not only making this video to say if you in Indiana and you know any ways we can get involved, please let me know. I'm also making this video to say I think this should be national news. And it's crazy to me that it's not being talked about. All the stuff y'all talk about on social media nowadays, everybody got a think piece on everything. Why not a think piece on the fact that communities that look like myself been out with power for 8 days? Gary, Indiana, we will see y'all in a minute. The Midwest Food Tour is officially starting, and it's starting with y'all. God bless you. Have an amazing day. I'll be safe. This is my announcement. We will be there soon. Again, any way we can help, please let me know. We want to show up in the best way we possibly can. We don't want to just show up for the fact of showing up.
Yeah.
So if you can let us know what's the best way to show up, I will forever be appreciative and grateful. I appreciate y'all.
I just want to
Praise
show
Yahuwah.
y'all how dark it is in Indiana right now. We don't even know when our power is going to be restored at this point.
We can see behind her how dark it is.
But let me
She's sitting
show
in the
y'all
car.
how dark it is.
There we go. Completely dark. It's not safe. People are breaking in people's houses and everything.
And the sad part is, this is what they want. You can't tell me this is, I know there's an underlying meaning behind this. And we have to realize the energies that we possess, the power we possess. Because, believe me, I just feel like this wasn't accidental. They are controlling the destruction. Think about it. Globally, think about it. Because we tend to think that what happens globally has nothing to do with us, yet our country is the country that's globally causing havoc everywhere. And each time they cause havoc in another country, and we see this same kind of stuff happening, destruction, what happens then? Somebody affiliated with America swoops in, takes all this damaged property and make a profit off of it somehow. It's always destroy the black communities, and then we swoop in and steal it from them. Like,
y'all, we got hit so bad, y'all. Look at my, and I'm stuck here.
Look at that.
We're stuck here. Everything down. I can't even leave my house, bro.
And then they probably renters. Who gets paid for all of this damage? The landlord. Why you lose everything?
Hey, y'all. Hey, PC. Hey.
Aww.
What's up, Granddaddy? So, I had to catch an emergency flight out here because in Gary, there was no type of lights. We've been out 8 days, no lights.
Yeah, they don't care about black babies.
For 8 days,
They don't
no
care.
lights.
What, in Indiana?
They're not doing nothing about it. Nothing.
The whole city?
The whole entire city pitch black. No way. Nick robbing niggas. What? They out there trying to purge. No way. I said, yeah, let me go home and get the fuck
you
about
mean
it.
to tell me the lights been off? It ain't been on the news?
Hey, no, nothing.
I ain't heard about
The
that.
gas stations,
This is heartbreaking.
the gas stations done ran out of gas. Don't nobody drive. The whole entire city is pitch black.
You heard about that, Dad?
No, this is my first time hearing about it, though.
But I didn't know that it was like that. Pitch black. 8 days now. Tomorrow will be the 9th. And I'll be here till the bitches get back on.
Girl, stop cussing in front of your granddaddy.
Nobody's talking about it.
That's crazy.
She said she ready to go with some lights. Like, you ready to
Aww.
It's Indiana, right?
Yes, Gary, Indiana.
That's crazy, y'all. We gotta say something about
They got these children in Indiana with their lights off. This don't make no sense.
That's her daddy. They got the same nose.
Happening in Gary, Indiana. They had a storm 9 days ago. At the height of this storm, nearly 35,000 homes and businesses in Gary were without power. Thousands of people are
35,000 Americans. Like, just pause 1 second and wrap your head around that. 35,000 Americans are without power for all these days. These are tax-paying Americans. These are people with families. Yeah, they're black and they work and they pay taxes. Probably higher taxes than a lot of you other people, because you get taxed high in these major cities, even no matter how poor you are. Just think about that. 35,000 Americans, and we around the country just destroying other people, spending our tax dollars to send to a foreign entity for the purpose of destruction. The same entity that threatens us. So I'm not even shocked that this happening in our kind of community, since that entity has said publicly that black Americans are their biggest threat, even though we don't understand how. And this is crazy.
still without power to date. Families have lost food. People have missed work, lost money. Business owners can't even open their businesses because there's no power.
That's the
And
plan.
I have intentionally watched the news, the national news, just to see what they're covering. And they're talking about everything else but Gary. Do you understand? There are parents and caregivers out there that can't explain to their children with autism, or they don't understand what's going on. And as a native of Gary, one thing I know about us, people who come from Gary, they're resilient, they're relentless, but I will say,
They are.
they're tired. You know how to
Midwest
survive,
spirit.
rebuild, come back stronger, but they're tired right now. you are a creator or influencer, share a video, make a post, share a post, use your platform. If you've ever been to Gary and taken a picture in front of Michael Jackson's house, you can help spread the word. I believe
I know
that
that's
God's
right.
favor is resting over that city. I don't care what anybody says, and Gary will be restored. But we need your help to share the video, tag the news.
Yahuwah's favor. Because I don't know who God is, who their God is. And since they handed us that God through the Negro Bible, and we don't even know what God that is. We need to really, that's what we need to focus on. Yeshua. And stop being led by your colonizers.
Stations. Tag everybody. Gary, Indiana, we're praying for you, and you will not be forgotten. You got this.
This is an urgent warning for anybody living in Gary, Indiana. I know right now you're without power. There's a lot of people desperate. But there's people dressed in all black going around door to door saying they are from the electric company.
Of course they're not.
I would advise you to think twice before opening the door for anybody during this time. This is a warning that not only was by local police, it's been put out by people. There are people that have experienced. Y'all, be safe. And anybody in the world that sees this, feel free to comment and chime in. I know that it's a sensitive topic because somebody did try to assault with a pew-pew the lineman. And I know that sounds insane the way I gotta say that, but I've got to.
No. See, I heard a lady. I saw a video like yesterday, and they keep trying to say that somebody pow-powed at the light company. What they're not saying, and that woman explained it because it's her community, what they're not saying is people were in fear already because of the home invasions that he's speaking of and people getting robbed. And then a van was riding through their neighborhood with all of the lights out. And they shot at the van to make the van leave because they were in fear of getting robbed or getting attacked. Which to me just sound like it's staged. It sounds to me like they did that for that news clip. They did that so that they could try to justify why they not helping black people. We are not violent people. We are not violent people. And I'm fed up. Like, to be honest, we're just sick of it. We are just sick of it being called violent people by cannibalists who enslaved us, murdered us, hung us, R-worded us, stole our identity. Like, we can go on and on and on about the violence of these people. Like, bro, don't let me go on a tangent.
Strikes off my record here. Pray for the people of Gary, Indiana, and be safe. Have a good one.
Now that the many of us are learning from social media that Northwest Indiana has been without electricity, water, and food for over a week, let's let another cat out the bag, shall we? Because somewhere will tell you that voters do not care about what's going on overseas, that the American people need to focus on home. Northwest Indiana is in the 50-50, and in April of 2026, the governor announced a $15 million investment to bring Israeli tech startups to Indiana.
Oh my God, did she mention them? What was I just saying? Oh. This is an experiment. Chicago, we're next. This is an experiment, people. And these people, we have been infiltrated. They have found a way to merge their military with ours. They have found a way to have these flock cameras everywhere. They have found a way to censor what we say. We can't even criticize them. And now there's an attack on a majority black city. And their mayor made a deal, a $60 million partnership with these people. And now mysteriously you're destroying these people's community. Bro, I cannot take it. And at what point are we going to do something different? Because I'm so frustrated because there are a lot of us that are awake, but there are too many of us who are not. And it's going to be detrimental. It's to the point I don't even want to be around people that are not like-minded. And that doesn't mean you have to be like me, but that does mean that you have to understand and know who you are and the power you possess and what your true mission should be, especially in a time like this, especially in the direction that we're going. Like, this is sick to me. This is sickening, and I hope that the rest of America that wears the same color skin that I wear is paying attention to this and realizing that enough is enough, and it's time for us to love each other, support each other, and come together. Come together.
Which in total will be
Bro,
a $60 million partnership deal. It's almost like for the past couple of years, we haven't been telling everyone that this shit is all connected. And that if you think what's going on over there has nothing to do with your backyard, you ain't been in your backyard. This article is dated for 2023, which it talked about how the state of Indiana purchased $35 million in Israeli bonds. And at that time, the state of Indiana was the largest known purchaser in all of the United States of Israeli bonds. In another article also published in April of 2026, it says officials said the initiative is expected to help Israeli companies establish U.S. headquarters or operations in Indiana. It's all connected.
So when they establish these headquarters in Indiana, I mean, y'all, some of y'all pull out a map. Look at the map. Look at where Indiana sits. Do y'all want these people with a headquarters sitting centralized in the Midwest? They can attack the entire Midwest. They hate us anyway. And they're strategically placing themselves in position to further attack us. And yet there are still people that look like me that are walking around, I'm going to say it, just walking around flat out stupid, ignorant, not willing to open their eyes, change their ways, and actually prepare themselves for what we are in. Because I can't even say what's coming. For what we are in. Because it will continue and it will magnify. And where's the preparation? Where is it? Where is the love? Where is the support? Where is the actual preparation? And I wish I could go into detail of what I mean, but those of us who know.
Indiana has been without power for a week now, and the reason why you haven't heard about it is because it's only black people damn near in Gary, Indiana. Majority of people there are black. You know what I'm saying? 100,000 people in Indiana overall that have been without power because of a crazy storm that happened there recently.
100,000.
And nobody's talking about it. The media is not talking about it. They don't care. You know what I'm saying? And I can't help but think that if the data centers weren't there, you know, like it wouldn't be as big as a problem. They would have had power a little bit earlier. But since like the data centers are putting such a toll on these people's, you know what I'm saying, power grids, I feel like it's delaying the power getting turned back on. Amazon has an AI data center up there in northwestern Indiana that costs $15 billion and it spans across 1,200 acres. And you can't tell me that this doesn't have an effect on them and why they're not able to get power up as quickly as they should.
For sure.
Because I guarantee that data center is most likely up and running.
Yeah.
Guarantee it, bro.
Yeah.
And this is just with like 20, I think it's like 23 data centers in Indiana. And I'm pretty sure that there's like 120 something that are going to be built. So it's just...
They put 400 and something in Illinois.
Spread the word about this, make your own videos about this. More people need to be talking about this. More people need to be sharing stories about what's going on in Gary, Indiana.
For sure.
Gary, Indiana residents are at day 10 of having no power, and now they're facing this.
Some Gary, Indiana residents who've been without power for days now frustrated and angry after learning that efforts to restore their service may be temporarily halted after a NIPSCO utility truck is hit by fire.
As soon as I heard this story, it made me think, why are people shooting at utility trucks trying to stop these people from restoring power to Gary? Meanwhile, the mayor of Gary says there's nothing to worry about.
They assure the public that we're going to do everything that's possible, that restoration of power.
Hold on. They shouldn't even listen to him. If this they mayor, they shouldn't listen to him. And the reason I say that is, how does this man have a fresh lineup? And his constituents, his people, his residents have not had power, electricity, water, or anything for 10 days. It's obvious he is not suffering. It's obvious that what is affecting them is not affecting him, and he is in a different class, and he does not care. He's cosplaying as a Negro. He's a house Negro who don't care about them people, and he helped sell them out. And dude, I don't even like what dude talking about either. Who video this is? I just hope this is a one-time thing for him. But for him to get on here and as a black man, knowing how we're judged, and repeat something like they was pow at the light company van, and run with that story without using his common sense or even trying to get more information about it, you feed into the narrative. Let's be real, y'all. If they were restoring lights for 100,000 people, you mean to tell me they sent one truck? One truck with no lights on, riding through a dark neighborhood in the middle of the night, a dark neighborhood full of people in fear who've been getting robbed and home invasions and everything else is happening. None of it makes sense. And y'all should know that. They're going to continue to give you half truths, and then you got people like him that'll get up and repeat it, and that just adds to the stereotype that we have to keep fighting against. You feel that way? You need to talk to other black people about it before you get on the internet and just spew this about your own people. That's what I mean when I say we gotta love each other. We gotta love each other enough to know that we can't say certain things on the internet. You could have DM somebody or say it to somebody's face, but to do this on the internet in a world that we battling every day, to me, you gotta stop it. You gotta stop it.
It's going to happen within the time frame that NIPSCO said.
I've seen several videos from people in Gary, Indiana, and I can imagine what these people are going through. Really hope they hurry up and restore power back to Gary. Being without power, no refrigerator for food, can't watch TV, can't charge cell phones, can't do your hair if you need to use electricity.
But the mayor got a fresh cut.
Me out.
And it's about to be a whole lot of cuss words in this video, so if you don't want to hear it, hey, scroll.
See? She's still going to work through the struggle. This is what I mean. Why would it... Look. The black dollar. Y'all going to work for promissory notes, number one. While the American dollar is steady dropping every single day, you all going to keep working and get paid in paper that ain't going to mean nothing in a minute. You all, the more that you go to work and you punch that clock, you're putting money into the corporations of the people who oppress us. The only way to make these people, to even to throw a glitch in this system, is to affect their pockets, and we all know that. But as a collective, we all have to withdraw. Which means we're going to have to love each other and support each other. We're going to have to grow our own food. We're going to have to do a whole lot of things. But it will get the job done. These people can't survive without us. They didn't build this nation. They still treating us like cattle, and you people are just like, yeah, okay, y'all still be cattle. This is insane.
Hear me. At this point, I don't even know what day it is that we don't have electricity. Before I move my vehicle from my workplace, I put it in there somewhere. Now, you know, NIPSCO is the power company, and I'm not saying bullshit. I am saying I don't work there. I don't know how it go, but I'm just saying NIPSCO, for the people that pay NIPSCO, that motherfucking bill every month be damn near equivalent to that motherfucking rent.
I'm telling you,
they collect.
Bro, I'm telling you, and who they doing that to? The black communities, all of us. I don't care what state you live in, Illinois, Wisconsin, Indiana, Michigan, bro. Your utility bills be like your rent, and I ain't talking about combined. I'm talking about in Wisconsin, they together. The state of Wisconsin, they have they light bill and they gas bill together. In places like Indiana and Illinois, they are separate, and they are two separate bills that almost equal your rent.
They collect, and baby, don't be late. If you had a partial the payment arrangements, all of that shit, baby, don't be late.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know the ins and outs, all that extra shit, but for Gary to not have them fucking trees up off the ground and them goddamn power lines and all of that shit, for them to not have that all the way together, but all the surrounding cities, and I don't even want to hear shit about because I know y'all gonna cut up in the motherfucking comments.
You know they is. You know they is.
The person shooting at the empty van, but they not gonna broadcast that a Caucasian woman went ahead and had a gun shot up in the air. What motherfucking NIPSCO employees all around.
I heard that too.
They ain't gonna talk about that though.
No.
Oh, okay. But this is some bull. This is some bullshit.
It is.
Where's the shelters that should be had? Where is all of the pantries? Yes, it's some that's out there.
I'm telling y'all now, y'all don't want no shelters. Like this is the thing. We have to have compassion for one another, because I don't understand how we don't have Hurricane Katrina in the back of our mind. We saw what they did to our brothers and sisters in Louisiana. So to even ask, where are the shelters? Look what they did to them for so-called shelters. I'm telling you, separate ourselves from these people.
But where is the people that really do not got it? Do you hear me? The people that really do not got it, who was already on their fucking last leg before the storm hit, and then it's trees still on cars and
on houses.
What the fuck? Garbage and trash and all of that is still outside. Garbage trucks ain't picked up a fucking thing.
And we pay a garbage bill though.
What Bugs Bunny say on Space Jams? To MJ, we need your help. Because what the fuck is really going on?
You know what's going on.
I just needed to vent this morning. Yeah.
Yes, you should.
So we're just going to ignore the fact that Gary, Indiana...
Oh, look at that baby.
You guys need to realize that they can do this for the whole entire United States.
Yes.
We need to take this as a serious matter.
Yes.
Not having power right now can be very, very dangerous, y'all. Like, living in society is middle of August, and it's extremely hot. Your food is already disgusted, contaminated, and then on top of that, you don't have any power, no water, anything. They are trying to put us all under attack, y'all. This is something we need to
agree.
Help Gary, Indiana, whatever it is we need to do, because this could literally be everywhere.
Gary, Indiana has been without power for over a week. Gary, Indiana is majority black. I would even say all black. I would even stand on that. With that being said, there are resources that are supposed to be allocated towards these people when they have disasters like this. Tornadoes came through there, severe flooding, severe rain. These people cannot get inside of their house in some spaces, or their house is flooded, completely destroyed, and people are saying stupid shit like insurance. Do you understand you got to take pictures, file a claim, wait for them to come out, look at it, and approve it?
And then natural disasters they don't want to cover.
That's from somebody coming from Florida when Hurricane Irma was happening. In the meantime, what do y'all expect these people to do? Live in their car? Some of their cars flooded out, driving through the water. You get where I'm going here. This is the time where resources are supposed to be allocated towards them. Remember Hurricane Katrina? And the parts that were the most affected was filled with black people? I think it's high time we stop waiting and expecting people to do shit the right way, because they're not going to do it when it comes to black people.
They're not.
And I would appreciate anybody who knows anybody, tag anybody you know, any resources, or people who are talking about ways to help get resources out to them, what day we going, what time we going, and what we need to bring. Because I'm ready to do it. I got a truck. Y'all know they stole my car. I got a truck. I will let these back seats down. We'll load this bit up and go take this stuff to these people. Please tag whoever you need to below, and we're gonna go. If you are a person who wants to go, we can go. You can
Where
go
you
with
at?
me. At least 1 or 2 people, and we can get this backseat filled and take it to the people that we need to take it to, okay? I'm talking to you. I'm talking to me too. I'm Danielle to you. The link to my podcast is in my bio. You should listen to it.
Gary, Indiana been without power for almost 10 days now. That's something no city in this country should lack. Honestly, only reason you ain't hear about it is because most of the people living there is black. Gary, Indiana been without power for almost 10 days now. That's something no city in this country should lack. Now, honestly, only reason you ain't even hearing about it is because most of the people living there is black. I have gotten an influx of almost 100 inboxes straight saying, Gary, Indiana, cousin, could you bring light to it? Y'all, they are without power and nobody is talking about it. Everything else is trending. All these other creators.
Yes, they still talking about Charlie Kirk.
Who did what to who when there is an entire city that has to follow up with their city council and mayor about food vouchers because nobody has food. Everything has literally started to spoil. People are scared about getting robbed at night. There are things going on in Gary, Indiana that are very, very sad. Some people are living by themselves. There are women and children who are going without, and it is not breaking national news. They want to talk about everything else but what is going on in Gary, Indiana. Why? Because honestly, 90% of the people who live there look like me and you.
Man.
They don't care. Now, they have said that, oh, the government is going to look into it and the president was supposed to look into it, but this has not hit national news. We don't care about what's going on in Diddy jail cell. We don't care about
Man, we don't.
Love Pac to death.
But we
right
don't.
now, we need to be concerned with what's going on right now. Now, Keith Lee has said that he's going to Gary, Indiana, first stop on the food tour. And other content creators down there are following us up with the news. But put that in your search engine to start getting it trending on TikTok.
For sure.
We are the ones that bring light and break the news here when it comes to issues about us. Gary, Indiana, we support you. I know a lot of us are very far away. But best thing you could do if you can't get 10 toes on the ground is speak about it. Talk about it like you do everything else. Because people need to know that besides everything else going in the world, that we acting like nothing bothers us, there are people that look like us that are going without. Gary, Indiana needs our support right now. And if you guys could, please drop it in the comments and put it in your search engines to get it trending. Gary, Indiana, we stand with you. Prayers. I'm just a messenger.
Hi, hello.
Prayers.
More than 83,000 buildings and homes are still without power in northwest Indiana due to the recent storms. More than 27,000 buildings in Gary alone have been without power for 8 days, going on 8 days. And for reference, this is how dark it is. This was posted by a creator, and this is on a residential street.
It's, everyone's like, oh, how dark is it, how dark is it?
Oh my God.
This is how dark it is. This is a residential street.
The Gary mayor, Eddie Melton, said earlier this week that NIPSCO was still assessing the damage there. And on Monday, NIPSCO Chief Executive Officer Vince Parisi said, I feel really good about getting 90% of our customers by the end of tomorrow. Just hours after that interview on Monday, a fire had consumed NIPSCO equipment in East Chicago, plunging thousands of customers into the dark. Some people who lost power a week after the storms last week got it back and then lost it again after the fire. Parisi also said that most people should have power restored by Friday, but Munster and Highland, Indiana residents might be without power and in the dark until next Tuesday. 2 weeks after
next Tuesday.
Please raise awareness about what is happening in my state. People are suffering, and people are getting jacked, like carjacked. People are getting stuck up at gunpoint for generators and for supplies. This is insane, and it's just giving like a smaller version of Katrina. We need to help them and stick together and look out for each other.
As a Hoosier, I need people to understand that it's not just that Gary has been without power for a week due to severe storms, and it's not just that there is severe flooding in 53 counties across the state, with roads and bridges literally just being swept away. It's that states like Indiana, and towns like Gary in particular, have been historically neglected in terms of public infrastructure and government investments in communities. Gary was once the home of Michael Jackson. They elected one of the first black mayors in the country of a major city. It has a rich cultural and arts history. But today, a lot of people in the state view it as a joke. They view it as the type of town that they wouldn't want to drive through after dark. And that's because Gary is a classic example of a Rust Belt industry town that thrived when the steel industry set up shop, building a prosperous, diverse middle class, but collapsed when those jobs...
In other words, when the colonizers used all of the resources they could in Gary, Indiana, they abandoned the Negroes that were there. They dilapidated everything. They never invested back into it. They simply took everything from the black community and left it destitute. That's it. That's what they do.
...disappeared. U.S. Steel used to employ over 30,000 workers in Indiana in 1970, and now, due to automation and outsourcing, it employs just a couple thousand. That collapse wiped out its tax base, caused massive job loss, and led to a decrease in population by 60%. High unemployment fueled high poverty, which fueled crime, leading to Gary having the reputation of being one of the most dangerous cities in the country. 36% of Gary lives in poverty. 13,000 buildings are abandoned, just in blight, and schools are being closed. This city that was once thriving is now essentially a ghost town, and it's a ghost town that's 80% black because when the jobs left, white residents had more autonomy to leave than black residents who were redlined out of new neighborhoods with better jobs. And this has happened on a smaller scale.
And now they've been sold out by their mayor to a foreign entity who wants their property.
All across the state in general. There are parts of Indianapolis and Muncie and Fort Wayne that have been historically neglected because their residents are poor or black. And rather than investing in those areas, the state is investing in Israeli tech startups and data center tax incentives. To make matters worse, Indiana's natural weather defenses, wetlands, have been largely wiped out, paved over for roads, or replaced by farmlands, and wetland protections continue to be rolled back in the state, despite the fact that doing so makes the impact of climate disasters like this worse, and that less than 1% of homes in Indiana are covered by flood insurance. I've seen people back home describing what is happening in Indiana as an act of God, some sort of divine punishment.
No.
But the truth is, what is happening is the result of years of neglecting public infrastructure, neglecting climate mitigation.
See, that's what I be talking about. Because what God are they talking about? That's why us, need to call him by his name, Yahuwah, and call this Jesus that they call Yahusha. We have to get back to the language they stole from us. We have to get back to the customs they stole from us. We have to get close to the God in us. That's what we have to do. Like, this is annoying. This is too much. Are we tired yet?
And neglecting community investments.
I'm fucking tired.
And if we want to change
I'm trying to
that,
stop cursing.
we need to be fighting for leaders who take those things seriously, who are actually going to invest in our communities. The road to recovery is going to be long and hard. So please give where you can, pray for those who have been lost. But remember that as the climate crisis escalates and as our government continues to prioritize the profits of the rich rather than caring for the poor, that if this isn't happening to you today, it could very well be you tomorrow.
Yeah, say this.
If you're running your own business.
Come on, man. Y'all just gonna interrupt me. I'm gonna say this, y'all. We have to literally, first off, pray for Indiana. And I'm talking about pray to the Most High. Pray to the Most High to cover our brothers and sisters during this tragedy. And to give them a sense of peace and calm and help in this moment. But I hope that we looking at this as a lesson for all of us to what we're living in and what we need to be preparing for, and the changes we need to make as people. We are in a war, and it annoys me to look around in my community who continues to do things like celebrate birthdays and holidays and glorify the most ignorant things that you can glorify, instead of actually buckling down, realizing who they are, trying to learn more about who they are, and loving each other and being good people. Like, I'm just tired. So Indiana, like, I'm praying for y'all. I love y'all. And for my 44 subscribers, I thank y'all. I thank y'all for subscribing. I thank y'all for watching. And I would ask that you all share this video on Indiana's behalf, man. We have to support them in any way that we can. So I'll holler at y'all on the next one. Check out